Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls. I'm your host, Spirit Boundsolder, and this will be the 25th episode of Dark Souls. Now, we left off in the Tomb of the Giants, and we'll be moving towards Nito this time around. I have little doubt that we will actually go ahead and also kill him. So that's something to look out for. But in preparation of that specific fight, I need to check if I can wield this sword. Yep, okay, I can. Because there's something very specific that I need to keep in mind. And that's the fact that there will be skeletons in the boss fight. And skeletons themselves are not all that big of a threat, of course, but the fact is that Nito counts as a necromancer. And that means that until we beat Nito, we cannot kill the skeletons, which would be very inconvenient. So to avoid that issue, we are going to simply keep a divine weapon with us. And we're going to turn human here, because before we actually get to the boss fight, we have a scripted invasion, as I mentioned last time, that we need to take care of. I just hope that we don't get invaded by any other people, because, well, I in general don't like getting invaded all that much unless it is on my terms. But mostly, this is just such a nasty place to get invaded in, I would say. At least, all the darkness and such. Oh dear. Very eager, those doggies. So yeah. The funny thing is as well that from here you can actually see Ash Lake. Right over there. As well as you've probably noticed, the Demon Ruins on the other side. So that gives you a bit of an idea how all these places are connected and positioned. Which is really interesting. It really shows that the developers really thought about designing this whole place. Always go into a battle with full health, I would argue. And here it is, we will get invaded. I believe that from here we will not need the sunlight bug anymore. So I will switch that out. If we can... No, we cannot. I'll actually just unequip it then, because otherwise I'd rather not get stuck in a fight that quickly. Okay. So here we have Knight Leroy. And using Wrath of the Giant, a massive club. Which actually can penetrate some damage through our shield. But trying to heal during a duel is never a good idea, Leroy. Alright, Humanity. And what do we get? Humanity, Grant, and Sanctus. In other words, the weapons he used against us. I'm going to check for a moment how much the sunlight bug weighs. Okay. I think I'll equip Mask of the Father for this then. That will assure us that we have no issues with weight whatsoever. I guess I can show you Grant and Sanctus, because those are actually some unique weapons. Sanctus I have, or Grant I have actually never used. Being a Great Hammer weapon, I never used Great Hammer weapons. It requires 50 strength, it does divine damage, it does magic damage, which is why it penetrated our shield. I would argue that it is for a strength-based build very, very powerful indeed. But again, it also is one that is quite unwieldy. And Sanctus is a very, very special shield. It does not give full protection. It gives high fire protection, has great durability, and it, as the description tells us, once blessed with the protection of a white flame, but its power has all but faded, so that it provides only slight HP recovery. Now this is that Sanctus Shield actually is one of the few weapons in the game, or the few pieces of equipment in the game, that will slowly heal you over time. Now, of course, being Dark Souls, that is very, very agonizingly slow, but even so, any form of healing like that is, well, valuable, I would argue. I know that we will get stuck in between them at some point, so I'm keeping an eye on my back. Here, yep. And actually an archer as well that is firing at us from behind the other guy. Very inconvenient spot, very inconvenient. Oh dear, it actually went underground. That, oh dear, will allow us access to these guys, luckily. But it does mean that we had no idea for a moment there where the other guy was. They can be tricky, they can be real douches whenever they just hide away underground like that and pop up some other place. But this time around it was quite alright, luckily. This is a rather curious scene we have here. Oh dear! As you can see, those are actually Pinwheels. Now Pinwheel himself was a unique boss, and there is actually a story in regards to him. So it is not entirely clear what these Pinwheels are supposed to be. And these are little baby skeletons. They are very annoying, but they have one great perk to them, and that is that they drop humanity quite plentifully. But they are very small, and in fact not all weapons are able to attack them because they are so small. Soul of a hero. Alright. I want to be really careful here because sure, it are just Pinwheels, but even so they are of a boss quality. They are quite powerful with their attacks. So if at all possible, I will be, oh dear, very careful in how to deal with them. Using Great Lightning Spear seems to work well against them. Yeah, come on buddy, that's one, that's two, alright. And I believe that these guys have a chance to drop a mask, but unlike the boss, it is not assured. It is just a chance that they will. Oh boy. That's a big one. There are actually 5 of them in total here, so, or 4. 5 or 4? By the way, quite an amount. Oh dear. And this I am not entirely happy with. Because he landed in the shallow pool over down there. Alright, kill them like this, that saves us a lot of trouble. Because the pool down there, I believe it does not hurt us. But if you oh dear, there's another one. But if you step into it, the little skeletons will spawn. Oh dear. Did he actually drop one of his masks? I hope he did. I'm going to run for it. No, White Titanite chunk. Dang it. But you can see how they keep popping up behind you, and well, I would argue don't waste your time with fighting them, because they can actually over time quickly do more damage than you would like to face. So that's kind of unpleasant. Ah, dang it, another White Titanite chunk. You can see the small army that just comes and chases after you. Oh dear. Oops. Was not what I wanted, but there you go. Now, as I said, oh dear. That's why. I forgot why they were so super annoying, but that's why. They actually toxic you. Ooh. That's not something we want. Get out of here. Die. Or rather die again. There we go. Annoying buggers. But again, at least they are only spawned if you step into the water. And they're easy to defeat, they drop humanity. There are some nice perks to fighting them and such, but in general, I don't like to deal with them. There are some nice little trinkets around here as well that you might want to pick up. And the boss fight is obviously here. Oh dear! Oh, we're gonna wait with that for the moment now. And explore around a bit, because here we go. A White Titanite slab. That's a funny thing about the areas in Dark Souls. You can actually divide them basically into builds. For example, this is a build that revolves more around divine and occult weapons. Finding White Titanite slabs and White Titanite chunks here in the areas of Nito. And in the, not in the catacombs, in the archives, you can actually find mostly intelligence-based equipment. And also the Tale of Seath will drop the Moonlight Greatsword, which is one of the strongest intelligence weapons in the game. So depending on which build you favor, you can actually choose a specific direction because of that. I'm going to check for a moment. I don't think we do. I want to have a divine weapon that I can use to slay skeletons with. Oh dear, there was one. But I believe that's, yep, that's a Saurus. Because if at all possible, I'd rather not use a Saurus Straightsword, because despite being able to wield it just fine. Ah! It isn't all that great of a weapon. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay. I'm getting constantly 100 souls. What's this? That's strange. That I don't get it. But Saurus Straightsword, despite being very useful and effective for, well, very useful and effective. It is in general very useful, but it's not very effective against skeletons. So I'd rather have a different weapon. And as I just saw, the spear, yeah, the Silver Knight spear actually does divine damage as well. But the problem is that it is a spear, and the spear isn't suitable against skeletons, even less so than a Saurus Straightsword. So I'm not inclined to use it. No. I reckon that this will be the best I can do for now. It should be no problem. The boss fight isn't that hard, apart from the plunge here. So if you have anything that can prevent you from gaining a lot of fall damage, by all means use it. I at the moment don't believe I have anything for that. You know what? I might actually want to use one of these mushrooms. I have no use for that. What can I use? I can use Green Blossom, but that's it. I suppose I should get rid of these two just to make sure that this is a bit more organized and easier to switch through. Alright. And we can use Sunlight Blade, though we might be early in that. Oh well. Here we go. there he is. Nito, the Gravelord. Dang it, just use it. Thank you. Nito himself. Oh dear. Is quite an intimidating foe indeed. Dang it. Didn't want to kill him outright in one go. Alright. That works a little better. Because these guys will actually die then. So that saves us the whole trouble of having to fight these guys while also having to fight Nito. The only annoying fact is that we, because of that, lost our Sunlight Blade. But so be it. Using a good shield makes this boss fight easier, but he also uses some magic, the Gravelord Greatsword basically. I'm not sure what it's called actually, but it was one of those... Ooh, careful. It's a miasma attack. He can actually thrust his sword into the ground and spawn a sword from the ground where you're standing. So those are basically unblockable unless you can predict his move and dodge adequately. But if you stay close to him and don't mind doing so, he is quite easy. I mean, yeah, he's not all that fast. He's by far one of the easiest bosses in that respect. And he gives us ample time to simply kill him. The reason... Oh dear, that's Miasma again. The reason why his boss fight, oh dear, is actually somewhat challenging in some respects is mostly because of those skeletons that he has with him. Oh dear, that's... Yep! Well, at least that demonstrates it. I didn't want to finish it off just because of that. There we go! Before you can do your next attack. So Nito is actually one of the easiest bosses in this game if you manage to take out his skeleton's companions. Which basically means that you need to have a divine weapon. That's all. Just make sure you have a divine weapon and make sure that you can defeat the skeletons with it, and you should be good. The rest of the fight isn't that tough, so yeah, I don't believe there was anything of interest here anymore, apart from there now being a bonfire here. Take a look inside of his coffin, which is now empty, but yeah. But this place is the exact same place as where we were transported to using that special coffin. And obviously, being in a covenant with Nito is now not exactly an option anymore. So there we go. Alright, so we got some more souls again, so we can level up in strength. I'm still going to level up in strength, but I think I should also start moving towards dexterity now. Because this will allow me to show off more weapons. This will allow me to have a little bit of fun with those things. I think we had 35 now, right? Yeah, we have 35. That should be enough to show off to you guys what the Dragon Greatsword does. Yep, we can wield it now. So this is basically what you would be swinging around with. It gives defensive bonuses, as you can see. I have a small buff on me as long as I wield this. And it does a special attack. That thing. Quite devastating. Long range, big damage. Oh yes. It is very fun to use it if you actually are able to wield it. And here we have another 50 strength weapon, which is the Dragon King Axe, Great Axe. It actually is somewhat small, I would argue, but it is very heavy. It is in fact heavier than the Dragon's Tooth, and I wouldn't exactly call it an axe either, being very blunt. But even so, it does have one of the well, I'll just show you here. There you go. I think that should speak for itself. It does massive damage. I believe I've seen people using it in tandem with a plunging attack. So this weapon has been known to one-shot people in PvP. Very devastating. And the Grant. Though I believe I'm not sure if the Grant had any special moves. But there you go. Oh yes, it does. What did it do again? Very effective against Agents of Dark. I'm not sure what its special attack was anymore. Dang it! I would have liked to tell you guys, but it isn't apparent. Obviously, we can wield the Dragon Tooth now. Also giving us defensive bonuses. Very, very fun to use, but it has no special perks to it. Ooh, we can actually one-hand this now. The Black Knight's Halberd, which is very powerful. And has some very, very cool moves to it. So if you like halberds and if you are a strength builder, then this is very fun. This is a fun weapon to use. What more do I want to show off? I don't think we have many other weapons that we want to show off right now. I did not actually get all the special weapons that are in the game because I well, I'd like to show you guys, but those are somewhat tough to get. Like the Moonlight Greatsword, it requires a specific tactic which I actually forgot about, and yeah, to go back and do over the entire boss battle, getting back to the boss fight was simply not something I was willing to do. Alright, so 22 minutes into the video. We now have only one great enemy left, and that are the Four Kings. It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? But the Four Kings, those are buggers. Sheesh. I'll be glad to use my scythe against them though. Which has been serving me quite well, as you've been able to witness throughout the series. It is very, very effective against most targets. What other weapon? I actually don't think I will need another weapon right now. I don't think I can wield a whole lot. Let's go back to Firelink Shrine first, actually. Let's warp over, Firelink Shrine. Here we go. Oh, she's still here.
Well, hello again. I have finally located my father. All of your help was invaluable to us. Thank you so much. I was finally able to pass on my mother's last words. My father, he went on his, don't worry. That's just the way he is. Undead or no. Sort of reassuring, really. He goes hollow. I'll just have to kill him again. My father.
So she actually mentions here that he might go hollow. And I believe that such is also the case. I think we can actually, finally, gosh darn it, finally, we can actually show it off, what actually happens. So I'm gonna try it one more time. And I want to see the final scene. Gosh darn it, we've been here 3 times. Fruitlessly, because I thought we'd already be there. I again haven't checked, so yeah, this might again be just completely pointless. I'm sorry if it is, but that's just the way it's gonna be. I really think it very much captures the essence of Dark Souls and the whole mood it sets. I really love the fact that they put it in like that. And I can see something in the distance, but either that's the bonfire or that's... I can see something else as well, I think. I hope that it is finally time. I hope that it is finally time. Okay. So. Well, it sounds so cruel actually, thinking about it. So eager to see it happen, whilst this is actually very much a dramatic scene. even so, I'll take out these guys because I don't like them, and I do like what they drop. There you go. Should have probably upgraded my straight sword before the fight of Nito, but I guess that one worked out. So yeah. It's also a long walk. I mean, it could be a lot worse, but even so. It's not exactly something you want to run every day, so to speak, as we've been doing. Oh boy. These guys are actually very much insignificant in how threatening they are the moment you have Artorias' Great Shield. I really love the shield, and again, every person that starts off playing Dark Souls, if you can wield it early on, if you can get it, then get it as soon as possible, because it will protect you so ridiculously effective. And especially in New Game Plus, it will save your ass so much. Because in New Game Plus, well, I suppose that needs a little explanation, but everything again gets harder. And you will be blindsided by the amount of damage and threat that certain enemies are. I mean, these enemies here, these scallop thingies, they are a lot more threatening in New Game Plus. Also drop more souls though, so it is not like it's all bad. It's just, that means I'm progressing again, I suppose. But that's why the shield will be so invaluable, because items you can collect now, items will be stay the same throughout the game. There we have it. There it is.
All follow now. He seems to do. He will cause no more trouble. It's finally over. I will return to Katarina. You assisted us so quickly. I can hardly return the favour, but please accept this. It's of no use to me now.
Titanite slab.
Oh, Father. Dear Father.
The Great Knight of Katarina, who, well, he always tried to help us, and he actually did at some point. It's quite a sad scene indeed. Typical for Dark Souls. I really liked him. He always was the spirited guy, and to see him fall down like this, in the most literal of senses, it's just so, well, sad. I mean, he gives us a Titanite slab, and that's a great yay, but dang. And that's the true ending, mind you. There are only two ways that you can end it, and one way is for him to die fighting beside you, and the other is, well, this. So yeah.
Oh, you. Have you seen Milady?
Yes, we have.
Last, where might she be? And would she be safe?
Now she is.
Oh, sometimes I...
He doesn't sell anything of value right now. But there's a sinister tale behind him regardless. Behind this cleric of Thorland. Because he would in part be responsible for what happened. And here we have a well, I really can't call him friend.
Oh, we meet again. How many of you are there? You've come at the perfect time.
Pardon?
I'm done with the looting. I'm a humble merchant now, and wondrous treasures have I, at a special price for you. There you are. Have a nice look at them. Oh, relax. No more funny business out of me, my friend.
So, he sells Eye of the Dead, which is sold by no one else. He sells Humanity, Twin Humanities, Heal, Great Heal Excerpt, a Crescent Axe, a Mace, a Canvas Talisman. I believe this is the only way of achieving it, only way of getting it. And I do believe that it is better than what we have right now, so I will purchase it. Will I? Actually, hold up.
What? No.
Hold up. I'm gonna double check and see if it is actually better. Yes, it is actually better. So, Canvas Talisman we will buy. Ah, yes, I forgot about that. That is why. That was the great reason. Because he sells the Cleric set, but he also sells all the 3 masks of Pinwheel. And I love the Mask of the Child.
Right. Good stuff. Don't you forget who got it for you.
So Patches does end up being useful in that respect in the end. I mean, the Talisman, why did I switch to this one? Well, you can see its faith scaling. This one scales better and has by default already a higher magic adjustment. The Thorland variant, which we have seen over at the other Cleric, that one is more powerful when you start off. So for people with low amounts of faith, it is actually better.
Oh, so
But when you go higher, you can see it has a C scaling. The normal talisman has a B scaling. And the one we have now has an A scaling. So it is definitely something to keep in mind. That is why I did not switch to the Thorland talisman, despite it having a better base magic adjustment. So we should actually be doing a little bit more damage with our miracles right now. And basically nothing we have to give in return for it. And we can switch to the Mask of the Child now. Which, as you can see, immediately imbues us with a buff that allows us to recover stamina a bit faster. So, it is not a great difference, but it is significant enough that it will save your life. And that is why I generally keep it equipped. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you use the Glass Crest Shield as well, you will recover stamina even faster. Those 2 buffs stack despite not being shown to be stacking. So that's something to keep in mind. If you truly want to be very, very nimble, those 2 items are very, very valuable. But anyway, for now, next up, we need to go down into New Londo again and move towards the 4 Kings. Now, something that you want to do is make sure that you have proper magic resistance for this boss fight, and that means that the Great Shield of Artorias will actually, well, it is not bad of course, but it probably will be inadequate for what we will be facing. The other variant, the Cleansing Great Shield, which is basically the exact same shield, I will show that actually. Give me some good light. Here you go. It shows out the shield very, very nicely. Now if I switch to the Cleansing Great Shield, you can see that it's basically the same shield, but damaged, more torn, more worn. The thing is that it has a lot higher magic resistance, a lower physical resistance, and still a very significant stability. So, the question is, yeah, it's the Silver Knight Shield, for example, also would be much too low in magic resistance to be suitable for this. so I will not be using that. So we'll use the Great Shield of Artorias when we go down into the into New Londo. But before the fight, the thing that you keep in mind, that's something you might want to do when you're up here. Probably want to do when you're up here. And that is unequip Havel's ring. Because that's the weight you will be dealing with. You have to unequip it, because you have to replace that ring with the Covenant of Artorias, which is over here. So you will be forced to make a change in your armor, in the choices of armor you made. Because the speed, I would argue that the speed is very, very valuable during the fight. Also, you can then change to a set that actually offers proper magic protection as well. So for example, if I switch back to my robes, we almost got it. Probably if we equip the Cleansing Great Shield. No, not yet. And we also have to switch out the gauntlets probably. So you want to think ahead. You want to already be preparing for this boss fight, preparing for the fact that you will need magic resistance and can't take as much weight with you as you would otherwise. I might want to switch to these guys, yes. Right. So now we are again normal rolling. Our protection is significantly lower. We have much lower poise, which isn't nice. I don't like that. Oops, pardon. But as long as you use a proper shield, like the Cleansing Great Shield, it shouldn't be too big of an issue, because you will be blocking almost every strike. So poise shouldn't be too relevant. What you do want to keep in mind, as I said, is general protection. So something curious with the Crimson Waistcloth. It would allow us to be much faster. It does not allow us for quick rolling. You might actually want to switch to a set that allows you to quick roll, like this. But that is also a bit dependent on what kind of shield you want to take with you, because obviously this is no problem if you don't mind having no shield. But if you want a shield, this will probably be leaving yourself too much open to their attacks. But to give you an example, I can probably wield, yep. With the light shield, I can still just roll around with the Silver Knight shield, and you know how powerful that is. So, yeah, if you are proper with your protection and using your shield effectively, then this build can be quite effective, quite powerful indeed. But before we actually commit to this build, something I very much recommend is to make sure that they are all upgraded properly. Never underestimate the value of upgrading your equipment like that. So we have some Twinkling Titanite. We picked it up at various locations. And we can't upgrade the Mask of the Child, and that's probably its greatest annoyance, the greatest disappointment in regards to it. But the other equipment we have, like the robe, we can upgrade. And I will do so because something to keep in mind, something you probably will be faced with, is the fact that chest protection, the main armor, is the chest protection is always, well, not always, but 9 out of 10 times being the most important piece of the set. It actually did this. These robes actually give me more protection against magic now than the giant's armor does. It actually gives me about half of the physical protection. It gives me proper protection against fire and lightning, despite that fire protection is, despite those both actually being somewhat lower. And it has no poise, but still, considering the weight, it being only in 4 points, whereas the giant armor is 16.4, it is quite effective. It is quite a cheap set, really, in that respect. So I would be going down now and grinding a bit for upgrading my equipment to the full level. But instead, I think that I think I'll just go down, get used a bit and comfortable a bit with the lighter set. I will equip the Havelstring, but I will equip a Great Shield with it. That should be good enough for rolling fast. No? Not good enough? That's annoying. I was quite confident that I would actually be allowed to quick roll still. I mean, if I use the Cleansing Great Shield, I probably can. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's a bit of a shame. Okay, fair enough, then we will be stuck with the Silver Knight Shield. It's no biggie. It was more than adequate for everything that we will face down there. And keep in mind, you have 0 poise. 0 poise, and that is something that you will have to keep in mind. Because if you are actually going to use a lighter set, as I'm doing now, 0 poise will mean that every attack has a chance of staggering you. So just to give you an example, if we let this guy attack us, you can see that we recoil. Now obviously his damage is very insignificant, and in general he is not all that threatening, but keep it in mind. Keep it definitely in mind.
Hey, hang on. Is that a sorcery ember? I've never seen one like that. Not even back in Vinheim. What a please, friend. I am a craftsman of Vinheim. I'd go hollow before I pass in a flame like that. Oh, really? You are wonderful. I will forge a Ricket masterpiece just for you. A weapon to make a legend out of it.
So he allows us now to, I forgot actually to explain it, but he uses the enchanted and magical based embers, so you can get an enchanted weapon here. Not to be confused with enchanting a weapon, but literally the status of being an enchanted weapon. So for example, as our falchion is. And it will allow us to deal magic damage, and it will retain some of its scaling, which is very, very valuable. If you use intelligence builds, it can be exceptionally powerful. There are few builds that can do as much damage. But again, it is mixed damage, so despite doing the most damage, the actual damage you will be dealing will be lower than that, which is why, again, just use the normal straight upgrade path. And don't bother with all the other paths and options. Unless you actually need it for specific reasons like fire. So here we will again equip the Transient Curse because we are going into ghost territories. Alright. We don't have a lot of armor right now, so that might make things a little bit less convenient in that respect, but less comfortable. But yeah, here's a nasty little position, something that I've skipped over the last times. It's a very, very narrow bridge where you will be actually stuck in between them. I forgot that was a Firekeeper soul. I thought that was just a chunk. But yeah, you can get a Firekeeper soul here. If you manage to fight your way past 3 ghosts on a very, very tiny ledge. Despite being a hard thing to do effectively, it's also a very valuable thing to actually accomplish. And here you can actually take a shortcut. I never actually took much notice of this shortcut. Actually, why not? Let's just take it, because this is the direction we would have to be heading in anyway. Skip over a few areas that way. We'll find this guy over here. Hello, buddy. Now these guys are easiest fought by using backstabs, I found. So be sure to use that liberally. Parrying them you can also learn, of course, but I found that to be significantly harder than with the Silver Knights. And here you can see another one of those typical situations, because there's another Dark Wraith over there. So if you attack him first like that, you will lure him out. Saves you some trouble. Give him a good backstab. And take care of. And here, ooh, careful. Here we will find a Titanite chunk. There we go. Careful, careful. So this is a great area, despite being obviously a very inconvenient and somewhat hard area. It is a great area for looting down chunks and indeed, as you've seen in the previous episodes, slabs of Titanite. Making this a very, very valuable area, and is being actually quite conveniently positioned, apart obviously from having no bonfires whatsoever. And we're going a little bit backtracking here, because I want to show you guys what's beyond the far gate. It isn't the boss fight, so don't worry about that. The way you initiate the boss fight in New Londo is quite unique. So you will know when you go into that boss fight. It's not as plainly put like it is over here. I already heard you coming from behind. Oh, the irony. So they have very nice equipment, don't you think? I mean, I always thought it looked quite badass. The way they wield their sword is quite impressive, despite the looks of the swords being very, very plain, I would say. But yeah, it is. I mean, they are literally they're like cosplaying skeletons. They are truly intimidating humanoid enemies in this game. And you can actually acquire the item set, including their weapon, including their Dark Hand, as it is called, by joining the Dark Wraith Covenant. Something obviously we cannot do with our current playthrough. I would love to show you guys, but that is literally impossible. Well, actually it's not entirely impossible, but it would require very odd directions to take in for Dark Souls. If you actually want to join it. It's something actually only the people who actually know the game, who actually looked up and invest much time into the game, that will actually be able to figure out how to join the Dark Wraith Covenant. So I in general don't recommend it being for your first playthrough, and I hoped this to be somewhat of a guide for that. That is why I haven't joined them. Otherwise I would have shown you guys, and probably also advanced to make sure that we actually get the highest tier equipment. But yeah, Marshal of the Proud Knight. You can hear some disgusting sounds coming from that area. It's because there's quite a disgusting thing over in that area. Keep in mind the transient curse is worn off now. There will be some ghosts here, so reapply the transient curse. And lure out the enemies. Now this is not an ideal position, because we are facing off against a few enemies at once now. But with some quick stamina regeneration from the Mask of the Child. Oh, haha, the lumbering soulmass. And just carefully luring them out to positions where you can conveniently fight them. Makes it all not too big of an issue. Oh dear. You douche! Stop that! Thank you. There's another one of those floating heads over there that the soul mass produced. Inconvenient, but not super threatening. We haven't been invaded yet, which is actually something I'm quite glad about. Here we have another chunk, I believe. Yes, another chunk. And this is the path towards the boss fight. This speaks more of being a boss fight, I would imagine. Despite there actually being a side path. Be wary of right. Well, that answers our question perfectly. Alright. Backstab. No problem. Do plenty of damage against them. So. Oh! This is a rare occasion. We actually looted a black hand. Very, very nice. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys. Where is it? Ah! Dark hand. It has a durability of 999. It does occult damage. It actually does damage. And it has an all-round 80% damage reduction. So this is what it looks like when you use it as a shield. And you can parry with it. What you can also do is equip it in a primary hand as a primary weapon. And you will be able to punch people with it, which as you've seen can be quite significant. It does 200 damage flat. Yep. And this attack you use in order to steal humanity. This works as a grab attack. And this is very cool because it is one of the few things that allows you to actually do a grab attack yourself. But mind that it only works on very specific enemies. It does do damage against enemies that don't have humanity. But if you actually want to steal humanity, there are not many targets that you can use it on. Still, since that we are so deep into the episode, I think I'll cut it not too long from now. But I will try and see if I can show you guys an example of how you can steal humanity. Because you can loot humanity off of some of the NPCs, and it is probably in your best interest to get this Dark Hand as soon as possible if you want to get it. Because some NPCs that we would otherwise be able to drain, we now can't. But for example, I believe we can drain this guy. And you can see we got 1 extra humanity. And he will get up. He is not mad at us because it didn't do much or any damage against him. But we did get an additional humanity from it. And I must say it looked quite unique. If you upgrade your hand, you can actually steal more humanity. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm not entirely sure, but it is possible that you are also able to use it multiple times.
Oh, there you are. Just say Master Logan has left on his own again. I intend to search for him. You see,
That's
with them, I could. You have done. Before I leave on this journey, I will teach you all.
So he's been a disciple of Master Logan for the short time he was here.
Then let as promised, I shall bequeath.
But we already know where Master Logan is, and there's not much that he can offer us that Master Logan can't. So he's not all that significant at this point.
Do stay safe.
I actually wonder if we can drain him multiple times. I would like to see that. Oops, that was a miss. It is very hard to effectively use it because it's easy to miss. Yes, you can drain them multiple times, so that's a fun thing to keep in mind. And I'm not sure how much damage is the maximum you can do against them. I'm not sure how often you can do that before they aggro. But you can use it repeatedly on them, and probably you can just warp away, come back, and drain them again if you are afraid that they would otherwise get mad at you. I'm not sure if you can use it on other opponents. I believe there are a few that you can use it on, but only a select few. So for example, this guy, oh dear, will not work, but it will do damage against him. And you can also simply punch them. It indeed does a lot more damage than most other attacks, than most normal open hand weapons would do otherwise. I believe there are no fist weapons in this game either way, or were there? Maybe one or two, but yeah. But actually there are indeed one or two fist weapons in this game, so if you like fist weapons you can use them as well. But if you really like fist weapons and you really want to use them cool and effectively, get Dark Souls 2, because I have played around with fist weapons in that game, and it can get very, very fun. I'm actually wondering. I believe you can even drain Havel the Rock with this hand, but you can look online. People have already documented how much humanity you can get from each NPC, because that varies also per NPC. But yeah, this is very, very cool, this weapon. I mean, it works as a shield, it works as a weapon, and it allows you to steal humanity. What's not to like about it? Well, apart from the fact that it can be used against you, of course. A rare weapon indeed. And it will be gifted to you regardless whenever you join the Dark Wraith Covenant, because this is the signature weapon of the Dark Wraith Covenant. And you can, I'm not sure actually, can we upgrade it ourselves? Because I know that within the Dark Wraith Covenant you can upgrade the Dark Hand. I'll double check that. No, you can't upgrade it yourself. But within the Dark Wraith Covenant you can actually upgrade the Dark Hand. And that will allow you to drain up to, I believe, 10 humanity per attack. So that's quite significant. That's a firm amount indeed. Something else we might like to do right now is actually go over to the giant blacksmith. We have some time left, so I'm just gonna fill it up a bit. I figured that would be something interesting for you guys as well, because I haven't shown that off firsthand yet, and I like to show things off firsthand.
So
Oops.
How dare you produce a blade upon a deity? How did you ever get this far? I shall end your suffering here and now. It is the least that I can do.
So we messed up. Whoops! I warped to the wrong bonfire, and that causes this to occur. So she is a bonfire, a firekeeper, but she also stands for the Dark Moon Covenant. And we basically killed the leader of the Dark Moon Covenant. So yeah, she ain't happy. She's pretty pissed at us. She isn't too hard to fight, but she can parry you, and she has an S-stock, so that causes massive damage. I believe she does indeed drop a Firekeeper soul, but this bonfire now, you can still warp to it, but you can't do anything with it. It's real. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for nothing. I will use a Homeward Bone, that saves us some time. But we have got 2 Firekeeper souls now actually, so we can now get a +5 Estus Flask. That's very, very nice. So we upgrade it, and we upgrade it. I believe it can't go up to +10, the Estus Flask, so don't hesitate about just keep using it on your Estus Flask. If you're still not like maxed out, if you actually have a lot of vitality, then especially it becomes very interesting, because basically assures that you will always heal to full health, no matter how much damage you have, no matter how low on health you are. So it's quite nice. Dang elevator, always gets me. So I might I don't think I can show off every weapon here that I want to. I think I, by default, can show off every weapon or piece of equipment that is in the game. But there are some things that I would like to show off, and I might show them to you guys the next time, the next episode. Making sure that I can actually get those weapons, or rather make them. Come on, buddy. Don't be a douche. Don't be a douche. Thank you. These guys drop, by the way, also drop Titanite chunks every now and then. But being only 2 of them, obviously it isn't as good for grinding as the Dark Wraiths are. Punch. So we can't use parries right now because we are wielding a Great Shield. And that's a bit annoying against the Silver Knights because I always like to parry them whenever I can. But so be it. If you want to go purest melee, I reckon that you would actually want to equip 2 different kinds of shields. Probably the Glass Crest Shield for the extra stamina boost, and because it allows you to parry as well. But if you want to go purest for melee, then that is an option. Hello, biggie buddy. So let's take a look. Quelax Fury Sword. Well, we don't have a soul for him right now. We have some catalysts, but that's all not too interesting. He only shows the weapons. He only shows the weapons that we can actually upgrade from weapons that are already plus 10. So if we have no weapons that are plus 10, he does not show those as an option. Something I might want to do because of that is go to this menu and that would allow it to go back to plus 10. No. Dragon Slayer Spear. Dang it, that goes. I hope that. No, that don't work. Dang it. The Occult Club we can't go back and bring back to a plus 10 weapon because it goes from Divine to Occult, so that doesn't work. Yeah, so I guess I'll do it next episode then. Next episode I'll be making sure that I have a great sword ready that can be upgraded. Perhaps some straight sword, I don't know, but either way I will be showing off some of the things that you can use the souls for we have been saving up for. So let's take a look at those. I will show you what you can do with the Iron Golem soul, the soul of Gwendolyn. I believe I can actually already show that off. Why not? Why not? Why not just show those weapons right now? There's no reason. I don't use catalysts anyway, so here we go, and here you go. It doesn't matter anyway, because we don't use catalysts. But it does show us the weapons themselves. So the 10 Dark Moon Catalyst, as I already explained, it uses Faith to increase in damage for magic attacks, for intelligence-based attacks. It can be very, very useful if you are a Faith person that uses Faith heavily, but also would like to use sorceries. And the Menace Catalyst, it has an exceptional scaling, so it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. It has great physical attack. I can actually, yeah, probably I can at least equip it and show you guys. Probably I don't have enough sorcery skills, but maybe I can at least use it. Yeah, this is basically what it does, and it should still do significant damage when using it as a melee weapon. Yeah, but it does recoil, so you do want to get the requirements. But you can use it as a great hammer as well, doing proper damage. So that's quite a fun thing to do. And yeah, a sorcery catalyst born from the soul of Manus, father of the abyss. A rough old wooden catalyst large enough to be used as a strike weapon, similar to the tin crystallization catalyst. It boosts the strength of sorceries, but limits the number of casting. So it actually was the inverse of what I said. It actually halves the amount of sorceries you can use, but it makes them much stronger. So that's again something to keep an eye out for. They are the other catalyst, born from the soul of the dark sun, Gwyndolin, dark moon deity who watches over the abandoned city of the gods, and Orlando. Gwyndolin is Gwyn's last born and a legitimate god, but he is also a moon sorcerer, and his wand is boosted by faith, not intelligence. So it basically describes what we already knew. And something also to keep to draw from this is the fact that the people of Gwyn, his children and such, those are actually revered as gods. So basically, we have slain a god already, which is actually quite a statement, I would say. So yeah, City of the Gods. I've been Spelled Battle Soldier. I will be ending it there. I'll see you next time. I will be upgrading the weapons, and I will probably be fighting the Four Kings then. Perhaps even finishing the game itself, because it doesn't last that long after we get all the souls. So anyway, again, I've been Spelled Battle Soldier, and I wish you all a very great day.